Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Pop Go the Writers. I'm Dan, that's Jim, and just reminded me playing the theme there. My mother used to think that was my ringtone on my phone. You'd hear that. She's like, "Why does somebody call you every time your show starts?"
But it is your ringtone, right?
No, my ringtone is actually the theme from The Mandalorian.
What?
Hello, Ed. Good to see you.
Why wouldn't you use the theme song to your own show as your ringtone?
Because I don't have it on my phone to do it with. So.
Oh, okay, well, all right. Okay. I don't understand you anymore.
So this has been a very weird weekend. I'm kind of getting back into doing all the things that, I've been dealing a lot with issues with my legs and stuff. Most of December and January, I could barely walk. So I wasn't really doing anything. February, March, kind of getting back. And then Lisa moved in. So all the attention went to kind of getting settled to having her here.
Yeah.
So this weekend, she made green chili stew for dinner Friday night. And I said I'd make dessert. And since she was making a Mexican style dinner, I thought I'd make a Mexican style dessert. And I made flan. Ended up making two different flans. And there's a reason for that. We made the flan, put it all together, got it in the oven, cooked it, put it in the fridge. And then I was sitting in the room waiting for her to come to bed. And she comes walking in and holding a pint size or a container of heavy whipping cream unopened.
This is a family show.
That was supposed to be in the flan.
Okay, be careful now with the next things that you say.
So we put it back in the heavy whipping cream back in the fridge. And she ran over the next morning and got the other stuff that we need to make it: condensed milk, evaporated milk, already had sugar, vanilla, and eggs. So we had to make a second one. But it turns out there are two different types of flan.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking this up as you're talking about. Okay.
There's traditional kind of Mexican flan and Spanish flan. Mexican flan is creamier, and that's where you add the heavy cream.
Okay.
Spanish flan doesn't have cream in it. So what we basically made that first night was a Spanish flan with like one egg too many.
Okay.
So the texture was slightly off. But I've used that recipe before in making something called a choco flan, which what you do is you make a flan and then you bake a chocolate cake on top of it and then flip it over like in a bundt pan. So the top is flan and the bottom is chocolate cake. One of my nephews, that's his favorite dessert, so I made that for him. And the Spanish flan is a sturdier flan than the normal one I make, which is creamier. So yeah, I ended up making two flans over the weekend. I made blueberry scones last Sunday for Mother's Day for my mom. We had those left over. So Lisa ran out this last night after the flan was all gone and decided I'm just going to whip together a blueberry cobbler with the leftover blueberry. I'm like, you can do that?
Everybody even says that, I mean, sure. I'll just whip together.
She's like, we already have all the ingredients, and she just threw it together, and it was delicious. I don't even like fruit, and I like it. So then we did a 0 session for D&D. We're going to do the Candlekeep Mysteries.
Wait. I'm an old school D&D'er. I don't know that term, 0 session.
Session 0 is where everybody gets together and you roll your characters and you decide things. So it's like a pre-session session.
Oh, we used to call that getting together and rolling characters.
Yeah, well, they've kind of labeled that session 0 now.
Oh, okay. They've labeled it. Okay. I get it. They're right. Okay. It's
Yeah.
It's
So,
yes.
so that's
A
why we made
steam
the green
feather
chili
and
stew and
heroic.
the flan and
Yeah.
all that. And
Wait, I'm
then,
not done with this flan thing yet because
okay,
I thought it was British. And I'm looking it up on Wikipedia and it says that British. So
okay, it could
it
be.
was, huh?
It could be.
Okay. Now, technically, it's his place of origin, Europe, but it says a flan in British cuisine is an egg-based dish with an open-rimmed pastry or sponge base containing a sweet or savory filling.
Now, see that's not what I made.
Okay. Well, they
That's
also call it's called flan and then pie in parentheses after it.
This is
Okay.
more like a caramel crema, which was what the French
Yeah.
did.
Well, okay. Well, it's funny. It says not to be confused with creme caramel,
Creme
and
caramel.
then that says that might be more like, yeah. I'm sure that's what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
How
So
weird.
I did the recipe I'm used to doing, which has cream in it, 2 cups of heavy cream,
Yeah.
and forgot to put that in.
Yeah.
But I've made this other version because it's firmer and can hold the chocolate cake when you're making it, when you do a
Right.
choco flan. So
Right. Right. So jumping back to D&D, what you're going to do? What adventure?
it's an adventure book they put out about 4 or 5 years ago called The Candlekeep Mysteries.
Okay.
And what I like about it is the fact that it's multiple chapters. And as you finish a chapter, you level up.
Hmm.
So it's complete in that you have an overarching story of why you're together,
Yeah.
but you go through these individual adventures. And I think that makes it a lot easier when you're playing with multiple people,
Yeah.
because that way, if somebody can't make it, then you don't, okay, they missed that session or those sessions or whatever. It makes it easier to kind of keep where you're going. And if you
Yeah.
need to swap somebody in, it's like, okay, you won't come in on this next one, but you can come in on the session after that, because we'll be starting a new part of it.
Back when I used to play AD&D, if somebody couldn't come to a session, I think what we did is the dungeon master just ran that person's character that time,
Yeah.
so that it wasn't just suddenly like they disappeared and suddenly, they came back. So is that an official Wizards of the Coast, like,
It
considered
is.
adventure? Okay.
It is.
Okay. Because I don't know if they still do it. They used to have that open license thing for 5th edition, and I don't
They
know if
they came out and said they weren't doing that anymore, and then there was a huge revolt, and they kind of went, "Oh, no, no, never mind, keep going, we're good, we're good."
okay. I've always wanted to do that. A couple years ago, I rarely do Kickstarters, but I did one for the Wizard of Oz role playing game. But it was using that open license for 5th edition,
Yeah,
and they did really, really well with it. I mean, it was just like gangbusters. And I always thought it'd be really interesting to find something else that's like Wizard of Oz that's public domain, and then adapting to 5th edition and make millions of dollars.
I know of a group that put together an adventure that the idea was you could play as your favorite literary character.
Hmm.
So that
Okay.
that would make sense in the D&D world.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be Daredevil, then you would go through and figure out how to do his powers and stuff. And by the way, a monk is the most likely solution for Daredevil.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Big time. Yeah.
Um, if you wanted to play Geralt of Rivia from Witcher,
Hmm.
then you could make an Eldritch Knight, and there's ways to do that. Or if you wanted to be Iron Man, you could actually create an artificer and
Sure.
put together your suit of armor.
Sure.
If
Like
you
a
wanted,
Jedi Knight could be almost like a paladin.
Mhm.
You know.
And if you wanted to play like Harry Dresden from the Dresden Files, well, he's a wizard, and it's pretty easy to put together his
Sure.
spell set.
Yeah.
Fireball would be absolutely his cast or a spell. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
Harry never considers the size of the room.
Are you guys you're not gonna do one of those things where it's like you're like everybody can watch you play like on YouTube or
No,
whatever?
no, no. This is a private home one. I
Okay.
do want to do one like that,
I
and
think you would be perfect for that, right?
I keep thinking we should do that for the experience. Like have
Mm-hmm.
a regular session and get a bunch of comic people to play it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, totally.
so now um so yeah, we're doing that. And what's funny is we always name our groups. Got
Mm-hmm.
to come up with a name. So because this whole thing is evolves around Candlekeep, which is the big library in the D&D world.
Okay.
So we decided to call ourselves the Deadly Book Club.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that was the other thing when we played, it was like there wasn't any D&D world. It was whatever world we came up with, you know what I mean? Not, and then they started having, no, it's Greyhawk, no, it's Ravenloft, no, it's, whatever,
I used
Dragonlance.
I used to play in a group that had a bunch of comic people in it.
Yeah.
A publisher, I mean, from a couple different publishers, some decent name people. And one of them decided that the DM talked to the people that have the license for D&D. I can't say too much about it, but I believe he got permission to actually make a comic based off of it in the world he created.
Hmm.
And it's finally moving forward. But his idea was we were playing in that world, but he was going to take different characters and stuff. And then a couple years after the group fell apart, like every group does,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
he told me that as he was writing, he realized he needed a specific type of character that he needed to add. And he realized that specific character was exactly what I had been playing.
Okay.
So now my character, he asked, "Can I use your?" I'm like, "Go ahead."
Mm.
So the other day, out of the complete blue, I get this text message from him, and it's got this piece of art, and I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to think of what is this? What? Because there's other things I've been talking to him about. This is
Yeah,
kind of
like why are you showing me this?
yeah. And then finally, I look down and I see a guy holding a rapier and a dagger, and he's got that look. I'm like, that's my bard.
Yeah. Wow.
So hopefully that'll come out soon. I love that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So
Do you get credit anywhere in it?
I don't know. He'll probably throw my name in there. He's a good
Yes,
guy.
yeah, it'd be nice,
Yeah.
at least to know where it would started,
Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, played that on Friday. Then on Saturday, besides doing my normal work, I built some minis. I'm building these little guys. This is the house army.
Is that antlers or
Yes.
a hat? Okay.
Sort of yes, both.
Or sort of both.
This is a group called the Thousand Sons. And what it was is that my nephew and I decided we needed a house army in case anybody came over wanted to play,
Yeah.
but haven't built their own army. He and I would buy this army, build it, paint it, and get it ready for anybody who wants to learn how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he moved out. He hasn't built a damn one of them. So, and of course, we picked the cheapest army, not the one that would make the most sense, like the smallest army, the easiest one to build and paint. No,
Mm-hmm.
we picked the one with 26 miniatures that are really not well crafted. So putting them together are a complete pain in the ass. And while there are some very cool looking guys like this,
Uh-huh.
there's only about 6 of these. The other 20 are all those little guys with the antlers.
Okay.
So I have 13. I'm 13 constructed figures in. I got 13 to go, but the last 13 are all those little guys.
Of
So,
course. I have some role playing news.
you do.
Yeah. So I don't know if I mentioned it on this show before, but I've actually written for the upcoming official Planet of the Apes role playing game. And this is so cool because there has never been an official Planet of the Apes role playing game ever. It's Magnetic Press. I don't remember. Dan, did you say once you knew the people at Magnetic Press? Why am
I
I
want
thinking
to
that?
say I do, but
Well, you know everybody, so I figured you probably knew somebody at that. So it's coming out from Magnetic Press, and just today they released the link to go to the pre-launch page for the Kickstarter for it. Then you can also it also has a page at Magnetic Press, their website, and you can kind of sign up there to get more news, for it. And now you can sign up to know exactly when the Kickstarter starts. It's going to be amazing. I am literally not allowed to say what I did for it. I mean, I wrote for it, and what the different parts are that I'm involved in, but it's going to have, the core rule book. It's going to have the supplementary books to cover movies and all the other stuff. And this is classic Planet of the Apes. I saw stuff for the miniatures that they're doing, and they're just amazing. Just amazing sculpts on that stuff. So a lot more news to come, but you can sign up now to get in on the ground floor. I'm really, really excited about this. It was really fun to do because I've never written for a role playing game before, and it makes me want to do more.
yeah.
I didn't have anything to do with the mechanics of it, but it was really interesting writing up, writing about characters and equipment and things like that, because you plant little seeds about characters and equipment. Why do I hear because
Hang on a second, I'll fix it.
yeah, I was gonna say, why do I hear myself? Why do I
Because I tried to, while you were doing that, I tried to go on my Facebook because I can post to
oh
YouTube and Twitter the
Uh-huh.
link, but I couldn't post Facebook. So I went to Facebook, clicked on the thing, and posted it.
Like, wait, I keep hearing myself. What's going on? I'm watching too much Doctor Who these days. I think it's like a time slip or something like that. But what's fun is when you write for a role playing game, you have to plant little seeds in what you're writing about that give people platforms, to jump from to fit that into a role playing type of thing. So that was really, really fun. I hope everybody takes a look at that. It's going to be magnificent.
Cool. I wrote. I've not done it professionally, but I did write. I haven't been playing D&D that long.
Mm-hmm.
I only started up like in 2018 when somebody asked me if I wanted to join the group,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started DMing shortly after when Lisa's daughter asked me to teach her how to play. So I've been a lot since then, but so I wrote my own one-off campaign, which I was pretty happy with. The idea that a meteor has hit near a wizarding school,
Mm-hmm.
and the radiation off of now everybody's lost contact with it, other than a group of kids that are trapped inside the building, and a group of adventurers are brought together to go in and get these kids out, rescue them, and find out if there's any other survivors. But what it is that the radiation is affecting them, and it's like a ticking clock. The longer they take, the more angry they get, the less intelligent they get. So barbarian characters and stuff would become really powerful, where wizards and clerics and stuff would eventually just lose all their ability.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So they'd do constitution checks to see if they survive, and then they would lose certain points. I've only
That's
played it
fun.
once, but it was really fun.
Yeah, that
And I
sounds
love the
fun.
idea
Yeah,
of
the
the ticking
ticking
clock.
clock thing, is yeah, that would drive me nuts. I could just see myself in that. It would drive me nuts.
Yeah. I had played one other segment. There's another D&D book, official D&D book, that has to do with like some swampland areas. And one is this boat that you go on to try to get something out of it. And you have to go on to the top and work your way down. And once you get it, the boat starts, you realize something's been summoned. It's basically a giant kraken.
Yeah.
And you have to get off the boat before it gets there.
Wait. I just realized that's an episode of The Love Boat. That's all that you're saying is that, wow.
Yes, because the kraken in the Love Boat was really well done. I have a giant painted kraken in my closet that I painted for that session, and drove my players nuts because they literally, everybody was on their feet doing their moves because there was a literal time clock. And every turn they would have to roll to see if they got knocked over or not because the boat was thrashing back and forth. And they were trying to carry this heavy item up through the rank of the boat, and it was a lot of fun. And I went, we need more ticking clock things.
It sounds like, yeah. We never paid much attention to time, when we played D&D millions of years ago. And the other thing that we never paid attention to was encumbrance. Like literally it was like, here, you find a bag of, 800 gold pieces. Okay, well, I put it in my own satchel. It's like, we never, like, do you realize how much 800 gold pieces would weigh? We never ever took into account things like that. I mean, we just kind of like took out parts that we didn't care. Like, we never did psionics. I don't know if that's still a part of D&D.
It's not.
My game master hated psionics, and I kind of did too, because it sounded too science fiction-y, and it really kind of just duplicated magic spells in some ways, and it just didn't seem to fit into the a medieval fantasy world. So we completely ignored psionics.
Yeah. In the one of the groups I was in, we had a magic satchel. And we originally thought it was a bag of holding.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's the go-to, right?
It was the other magic satchel.
Oh,
the one that sucks you in and sends you to one of 7.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's like a void in it or what?
Yeah.
Okay, well, right. That one.
Our DM gave it to us as a trick because we had a player who would touch and grab anything.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to teach a lesson, and we rescued the person from being sucked into the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had the shop owner offer them money for the bag, a good amount. And I'm like, no, don't do that. And and the DM suddenly went, wait, what? I said, keep the bag. We're going to need it. He's like, what do you mean? I said, that's a useful tool. We want that bag. So sure enough, we took that bag with us. And there was a couple different times where that bag became very handy.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
We had a guard in front of a door that was half asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to get rid of him without waking him. So we just opened the bag and put his foot in it. And he was gone.
That's cold. That's mean.
But the better use of it, absolute better use. And I thought the DM was going to just lose it. And this was the first time we used it. That was after we realized how good it was. One of our people had a magic staff that they could summon a dragon to work with them. But the problem was it depended on what color dragon showed up. And if it was a bad color, it would attack us instead.
Sure.
And they called forth the dragon to be their companion. and it attacked us. It was a red dragon. And I looked at this player and I said, I'm going to distract him. Put the dragon's tail in the bag. The DM's eyes went, what? And I said, well, yeah, there's no size limit on what the bag can pull in, right? Mm-hmm. No. Okay. He says, well, I'm going to make this a really high roll, though, because this is a mighty beast. It could probably pull itself out. Went, that's fine.
Sure.
So did like it had to be like a 80 or above on a D100. She rolled a 92.
Jeez. Yeah, that thing was getting out.
Yeah, in the bag.
Yep.
Loved it. But every time I would come up with a use for that bag, it was like he was cursing me.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things where where something turns on the DM and it doesn't go the way they want it to, and then it's going to be the bane of their existence. After that, it's the answer to everything. Like, no, stop.
It was like we rolled up one time on what was supposed to be this camp of dwarves hiding out in this old military base type thing, keep. And we get there, and there's two giant storm elementals standing on either side, way beyond our class.
Yeah.
And all our guys are running around going, okay, let's do this, let's do that, da, da. And it got to my turn, and I went, I cast Dispel Magic. The DM went, what? I said, I cast Dispel Magic. He's like, on what? I said, well, it's a general area spell, so I cast it basically between the feet of the storm caster or the storm elemental. He's like, or storm giant, excuse me. These are the big ones.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And got the roll. I think I rolled like a 19. Suddenly it disappeared, and there was a little dwarf standing there going, where'd my guy go? So, yeah, I used to ruin my DM's fun a lot.
It sounds like it. Yeah, you're one of those players. Sure.
Pretty much, yeah. So, all right. So, yeah, we're taking up almost half the show talking about the weekend.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
I did have two topics.
Okay, go for it. Go.
First off is a report that kind of, I'm hoping, may put to rest the whole James Gunn screwed over Henry Cavill story.
Okay.
A report came out that James Gunn was brought to Warner Brothers by Mike DeLuca, who is currently, he and Pamela Abdy are running the non-DC movies.
Okay.
Dune, anything that Warner Brothers is doing outside of the DC universe.
Yeah.
At the time, they were still playing with the DCEU. But if you'll remember, Todd Phillips did the Joker, and Matt Reeves did the Batman that were one-offs. Mike DeLuca brought in James Gunn to do a one-off Superman story. This was going to be a standalone. So when he started putting together the pitch for Superman, this was not Henry Cavill's Superman. This was going to be like Robert Pattinson's Batman. It was going to be its own thing.
Yeah.
Separate from what they were doing with the DCU. And the whole bringing Henry Cavill back was driven by Dwayne Johnson because he wanted him in Black Adam. He wanted to set that up, and then he wanted Black Adam versus Superman in a sequel. With that bombing, bombing's not as bad as the ones that came after it.
Yeah.
But because it didn't do well, David Zaslav decided at that point, we're done with the DCEU altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So then they started talking about, well, we need to start this fresh. Who should we start this with? And the name that came to mind was Peter Safran, who had put together the $1 billion Aquaman movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they started talking to Peter Safran, and Peter Safran's hesitation was that he didn't think he could do what Kevin Feige does, because that's what they were looking for, was a Kevin Feige.
Right. Yeah. And we talked about that before,
Yeah.
which makes sense. Yeah.
So he brought James Gunn in to be the creative side of it while he's doing the business side of it. Makes perfect sense. So Gunn has said before that his Superman idea was always for a new person as Superman.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it wasn't like he didn't make the decision to bring Cavill back for Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't decide, he was brought in to do a movie with a new Superman.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense. So there's a lot of people out there, he's lying. He's lying about this and that. And there was no malicious intent.
Yeah. Yeah. Was his standalone Superman movie still on the table when Peter Safran was brought in, and then he brought Gunn in, or did they at some point cancel that standalone one? Okay.
The Superman movie that he's making is still that movie.
Yeah, I was going to say it morphed into being a part of the new DCU.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, see, that all makes complete sense. Yeah. And really, all it should really take is Henry Cavill in public saying, would everybody just get off his back? I'm not mad at him, I mean, that's really what it should take, and it should be over at that point.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it says, I miss D&D. Our high school had a Fallout shelter underneath it. I formed a D&D club and got permission to play the Fallout shelter. That's awesome. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the one story. Then the other story has to do with Marvel Television, which is kind of interesting because we know the history. Marvel Television was run by Jeff Loeb, overseen by Perlmutter, and was separate from Marvel Studios up until 2019, when the big fight happened. Perlmutter was out. Everything moved under Kevin Feige. Marvel Television was dropped. Everything went under Marvel Studios. And, the Netflix stuff ended. It just, it was like we're closing the door on Marvel Television. Well, the door is opening back up again. And I don't just mean the, we're bringing Daredevil back.
Yeah.
And the Punisher and certain characters are being brought back.
Yeah.
Over last week, they did the upfronts. And because Disney has Disney Plus and HBO Max and all these things now, they're part of these TV upfronts. You know,
and define an upfront.
An upfront basically is when a studio or a network comes out and says, these are the shows that we're going to be putting out. And they present them to advertisers so the advertisers can decide where they want to put their money.
Gotcha.
Called the upfronts. Now, Max has got an interesting thing. They're allowing someone to come in and on their ad tier, the cheaper tier that has ads on it, companies can buy an entire movie. One of the two examples they gave is Blue Beetle. And the two companies
there was a Blue Beetle movie?
Yeah.
Could have fooled me.
I've watched it and it's actually pretty good.
Okay,
But
sorry.
like Starbucks would be the only sponsor for that show. So
Yeah.
all of the ads would go, or Target would be the only sponsor
Hmm.
for something like a Dune movie or whatever.
Hmm.
So that I like a lot
Yeah.
because then you know that as a company you could gear ads specifically for that buy.
Hmm.
You know, oh, well, I'm going to be getting the people who are watching Blue Beetle movies. They might like these toys. They might like to see other DC movies that we have for sale, things like that. You could gear. So I like that. But when Marvel came out, they were talking about three of their projects: Agatha, which finally has a title.
If I may just say, they're very clever to lean into the fact that that thing has had like 4 or 5 titles. I love that when they came out with that and they had the dates of when they changed.
Mhm.
I love that, and I think Agatha all along is probably the best title,
Yeah.
anyways.
The other thing I've
So,
heard is that most likely those other subtitles
uh,
are episode titles.
oh, okay. Now that would be fun too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did like that. Oh, wait. Ed says, I read Jim's Breaking Brave and Bold on my Kindle. Great read. It makes me want to go back and read the comics.
Thank you most exceedingly. Thank you very much.
Oh, Ed, did you check out the another book? What's it called? The superhero origins.
Oh yeah, that's the other book in because it's a series now called Comic Book Culture. That's the old origin changeth,
Yep, that's taking a look
featuring
at.
this guy. Well, I can't do this thing. This guy over here, this one,
Yeah, I did
that
an
one,
in-depth write-up of Captain America. There's Wonder Woman. There's
Batman, Superman,
Batman,
Wonder
Superman.
Woman, Fantastic Four,
Four
Spider
and
Man, and Captain America.
yep, that's the one, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so it's going to be Agatha all along.
Yep.
It's going to come out in September,
Mm-hmm.
and that looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Daredevil Born Again will
Mm-hmm.
be released in March of 2025.
Hmm.
So that'll be 9 episodes. I guess the original idea of doing 18, they split into two 9 episode seasons.
Oh, that's right. It was supposed to be 18. Right, right.
Yeah, which seemed really ambitious, but I think this is a better choice.
Yeah.
And that sometime in 2025, we should also get the Ironheart series.
Oh, yeah. Geez. Did did they film that? Right?
Yeah, it's already been filmed. I think they
Yeah.
were holding it off to kind of give it more time
Okay.
to get closer because they're going to do the Armor Wars. I think she'll be part of Armor Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's I don't I mean, I guess that's all part of being an actor, that you can film something and then years later it comes out.
Yeah,
But the book world is kind of like that too. I've had
yeah,
it go, a year and a half, 2 years after writing something, to have something come out. But
yeah.
boy, yeah.
But the other thing that came out is the fact that they're rebranding everything Marvel Television again.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. What?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Well, this is the explanation.
Hmm.
This comes from the Marvel's head of television streaming and animation, Brad Winderbaum. He
Mm,
recently revealed in an interview that this is to help viewers know that they can jump in anywhere in the MCU and still understand the plot line. He says, we want to make sure that Marvel stays an open door for people to come in and explore. On the heels of Endgame, I think there was maybe a little bit of an obligation to watch absolutely everything in order to watch anything. As you know, as a comic fan, they're designed to just pop in, find something that you like, and use that to enter into the universe. And then you can explore and weave around based on your own preference. So that's what they're changing. He said,
you
although all shows will still be part of the MCU, viewers won't be forced to watch one production to understand the other. Um, He says part of the rebranding of Marvel Studios, Marvel Television, Marvel Animation, even Marvel Spotlight is to, I think, try and tell the audience you can jump in anywhere. They're interconnected, but they're not. You don't have to watch A to enjoy B. You can follow your bliss. You can follow your own preferences and find the things you want within the tapestry of Marvel.
Do you feel that there was a concern about that? I mean, is that I don't know if I heard a lot of people saying like, "Oh, it's too dense. I can't jump into it," which
I had heard a lot of people say that they felt like they had to watch everything and there were shows that just didn't interest them.
that's so funny. I mean, I must be in the minority. I watch it all, whether or not I really care about the character or not, because I like the overall tapestry. I mean, Ms. Marvel, like, I mean, if that was just coming out on its own, I probably wouldn't have watched it. But because it was part of the MCU, I wanted to watch it. How weird. I'm sorry.
See,
I
I'm
guess
with
I'm
you
just
on that. In that, I was never a big Miss Marvel character. I had slowed down my reading when Miss Marvel came out, so she isn't a character I'm that familiar with.
yeah.
But there's a
Can
lot
you
of characters like that now too.
can you
But
think of an example of something that they did that made you have to watch something else? In the since Endgame, I'm trying to think of something. What would have been a good example of that?
with the Marvels, you kind of need to have seen Miss Marvel and
I
WandaVision.
okay, okay, I'll give you that one. But they had stuff like Moon Knight. You didn't have to watch anything at all to
No,
watch Moon Knight, you
but
know?
you kind of need to know what was going on for Secret Invasion.
Mm, I'll give you Marvels. Yeah, okay, I can see that one. But I guess I just never really heard or knew anybody who was feeling overwhelmed or I'm behind, or anything like that at all, or I can't get into it. It's too dense. Well, I hope they can get that point across if they're really concerned about that and they feel that that's hurting them somehow. I hope they can actually, get that point across to people and that it
Yeah.
sticks. Hmm.
Ed asks, "Did you do your homework and watch Princess Bride or the Batman?"
Well, I have already seen Princess Bride, so I
Yeah,
wouldn't have to do that one. I have not watched The Batman yet. No, I will admit to that. And I don't need to watch Princess Bride again. Once was enough.
I had a discussion with Lisa earlier, and she convinced me
Mm-hmm.
that your stance on Princess Bride
Uh-huh.
is perfectly reasonable
I
because
like her already.
we live in a country where we're
Uh-oh.
free and we're allowed to be wrong about things.
I knew it was not going to go well.
So
Yeah.
you are capable. You are perfectly fine being wrong about
Yep.
Princess Bride.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
on the animation side of Marvel, there is talks of while we're waiting for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is the new name for Spider-Man freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
and there is talk of Wakanda, the Eyes of Wakanda,
Mm-hmm.
which, tell you the truth, of all the animation stuff, that's the one that interests me the most.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Wait, what did you call it? What?
Eyes of Wakanda.
Eyes of I thought you said through the eyes of I thought that's a terrible
Yeah.
title.
Plus, you're going to get an earlier version of Iron Fist in there, and I love that idea.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay, but that is supposed to tie into the live action stuff. Okay.
yes,
So whatever Iron Fist is in there will be part of whatever Iron Fist they eventually do in live action too.
yeah, but it's going to be like a different eras, so it'll be
Yeah,
a very old version. And if they do
yeah.
end up keeping Finn Jones, which there has been rumors about lately, that they're going to do a Heroes for Hire, have Luke Cage, because while um, Iron Fist got pretty panned for the first season and most of the second season. His appearances in the Luke Cage series and in the Defenders with Luke Cage was actually well received.
I
So
liked him. I never had a problem with him at all. You
so
know,
they're thinking of just doing Heroes for Hire with Mike Coulter, Finn Jones, and also um, Missick and basically Colleen Wing and Misty Knight.
okay.
I can't remember their names right now. I know her Misty Knight's last name is Missick, and Henwick is Colleen Wing. I just don't remember. I think it's Jessica Henwick.
I liked all that casting. I miss Mike Coulter as Luke Cage. You know, I really, really do.
And
I
his
even grew
CBS
to
series just ended.
I even grew to like Jessica Jones. There's something that I wouldn't normally have watched if it wasn't part of the Netflix Marvel stuff, is Jessica
Yeah.
Jones. And I walked away with one of those with the character from that being one of my most favorite characters, and that's well, I call her Hellcat, but you know who
Yeah.
That's terrible. I can't think of the shoot.
Well,
Trish.
Trish.
They
Yeah.
called her Trish in the show. Yeah. Oh my God, I loved her. She was great.
Yeah. I like the fact that they introduced the Wizard.
Yeah. The Wizard.
But what Winterbaum said about the animation stuff, though, is that most likely the next animated series we're going to get, now that X-Men 97's wrapped up, will be the third season of What If, and they're almost done with that.
Yeah, I figured as much. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, I thought we'd get either the Spider-Man one or the Eyes of Wakanda next, but it'll probably be What If season 3.
Is Tom Holland doing the voice in the Spider-Man?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't know if that'll actually be connected to the MCU.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, where the Eyes of Wakanda is.
Yep. Yep.
So,
it's kind of odd that some are and some are not then, but
yeah, and I think that's why I like that one so much.
Yeah.
But and then I heard this awesome rumor, and I don't know how true it is, and I'm thinking it may not be true. But if it is true, I love it.
Okay.
They're talking about a second season for Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But it's going to be, you ever hear of the movie The Raid?
RAID?
RAID, yeah.
Yeah, Raid.
That's
The Raid.
basically, it's did you see the Dredd movie with Carl Urban as Judge Dredd?
I did not. I've never been a Judge Dredd fan. Never.
Well, if you're gonna watch one, watch Carl Urban over Sylvester Stallone.
Oh yeah, and I've been told that over and over again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both of those movies, The Raid and Dredd, basically take place in one location, a building that they have to fight through, and that's what they're talking about for Hawkeye season 2. Is that it's going to be the whole season will be them fighting their way through a single location. And it'll be Clint and Kate.
Okay.
And his brother will be probably the villain.
Oh,
don't they call him Trick Shot?
Yes, it is his brother. Yeah, I can't think of it's something Barton. Yeah, that's right.
Isn't
it
Barney?
It's Trick Shot.
Is it Barney or Barnaby or
Barney? It's Barney. Yeah, Barney Barton, which I can't imagine them leaning into that name in 2025 or whatever, 26. Yeah, Barney Barton. Yeah, I don't think so.
Now, I'm a little hesitant to believe that one, just simply
Pardon me.
Jeremy Renner has just returned to shooting Mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah.
And they had to adjust his schedule. Basically, the type of shooting he used to do, he hasn't been able to physically keep up with that. So they had to work in rest periods and periods for him to be able just to stretch and do extra. So
I thought the whole point of Hawkeye was to hand it off to Kate Bishop.
But in the comics, the two of them were active at the same time.
Sure, I know, but those characters are eternal in comics, and Jeremy Renner is, before his accident, wasn't getting any younger. I thought, I mean, that's okay. I mean, whatever. I mean, it'd be fun to have them both again, but I really honestly thought they were really going to go ahead, with Kate. And now with her going to be in the Young Avengers. See, all I want them to do is just put all that aside and build the Young Avengers and get us that Young Avengers movie or TV show or whatever.
That is absolutely the last thing I want.
I know. You've said that before. No. I love the Young Avengers. No, and now that we've got all these different, hints and characters, and we've got not Isaiah, but Isaiah's grandson. Shoot, I can't think of his name. We have Tommy and Billy or whatever their names are, and no. We need the Young Avengers.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No, we don't. No.
Well, you know what your girlfriend said. We live in a country where you can be wrong.
And you are again. So
you are this time. And I know everybody else out there will back me up on that. We all want the Young Avengers. You don't.
Nobody wants the Young Avengers.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Ed says, I'm so far behind on Marvel programs. Haven't seen Hawkeye or WandaVision or Moonlight. I assume you mean Moon Knight. I'm also.
WandaVision was a long time ago.
Maybe he means moonlighting.
Oh, well, okay. I'm behind on that too. Yeah.
Can't get through Eternals. Tried 3 times. Fell asleep each time. About your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man at this time, but it's confirmed that Tom Holland will not be voicing. Right.
Yeah.
But Charlie Cox will voice Daredevil. So, and I think it has to do with the fact that his contract is partially with Sony. So getting Tom to do non-Sony stuff, because they only have the rights to Spider-Man movies, not Spider-Man television.
Yeah.
So talking about the projects that Ed hasn't seen yet, Hawkeye is one of my favorites of the Marvel television series. It's fun. It's fast-paced. It's easy to jump into. And it's a Christmas one. It does have a Christmas thing. It's kind
Rogers the musical.
Yeah. Right. Moon Knight is very cool. I enjoyed that one a lot. It's trippy. You don't have to have seen anything to watch it. You don't need to watch anything since yet. So that's definitely kind of a standalone. WandaVision. I didn't like the beginning of WandaVision because I don't like sitcoms. And it was an absolute love letter to sitcoms. But when it got past that point, it became a very good show for me, where I know a lot of people absolutely love it.
Okay, and I will admit that you pretty much should have watched WandaVision to watch Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness and the Marvels.
Yeah.
So, and for Agatha all along. So WandaVision is kind of a hinge pin one.
Yeah.
Hawkeye is a Christmas theme the same way that Die Hard is. It takes place at Christmas.
It takes place at Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, there is Christmas stuff, but it's not necessarily important that it's Christmas.
Kinda. I would argue with that one. He's trying to get home for Christmas.
Yes, it is. You're right. It's
I
probably
would argue that. And the scene where she shows up and they try to do Christmas, the sweaters and the tree and the food and things like that. That's kind of an important relationship character building scene. So I kind of argue that one, where Die Hard is just like it's just set at Christmas, and it's not,
But it does have a Die Hard feel to the whole season.
Yeah.
So if you are a Die Hard fan, I definitely recommend Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I love Lethal Weapon.
I love the inclusion of Yelena in Hawkeye. Yeah, really, really do very much so.
by saying that it's a little bit Die Hard, a little bit Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon is also technically a Christmas movie.
Oh, you're one of those people. I see. Mm-hmm.
I am one of those people when it's convenient, and I will argue the other side just as much if I got somebody going, it's a Christmas movie.
You're a Christmas movie agnostic. It depends on what day of the week it is.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I just realized you're going to have watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier to enjoy Captain America New World Order or whatever it's called now.
And possibly Thunderbirds, Thunderbolts, Thundercats, whatever.
Thunderbirds, Thundercats. Yeah, I think you might mean Thunderbolts. Thunderbirds. Wait, weren't they making a Thundercats movie?
Sad thing is, all of those are genres things. There are the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
The old puppetry stuff, which I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
There are the Thundercats. So
Mm-hmm.
Thunderbolt, it's just had to get there, you know?
Yeah.
It's like my grandmother used to go through 7 names before she would get to mine.
Yeah, that my own mother used to do that with us 3 kids. So yep. And I was always the last because I was the youngest. Right? Weren't they supposed to make a Thundercats movie, or am I imagining that?
There's been talk about it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
oh, God,
Ed,
that's...
if you catch up on Falcon, Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, and Hawkeye.
Wait, Ed, why don't you just basically say you haven't watched any Marvel television shows?
You watch those, and when you complete them, Jim will watch the Batman.
I like it. I'm gonna go on faith now because I mean I don't know. I'm gonna have to. Maybe I can ask trivia questions to make sure that you that you watch.
Good. Yes.
Wait, did you watch She-Hulk?
The only thing I haven't watched so far is X-Men 97.
See, I have no interest in that whatsoever, so I'm not watching X-Men 97.
What's funny is I have some interest, yet when everybody comes and tells me this is the greatest thing Marvel has ever done, my interest gets less.
Wow.
Okay, so he's watched She-Hulk, Loki's, and What If.
Those are some odd choices, but I support you in those choices. They're just odd choices. Loki, the 2 Loki seasons, I'm fully behind you on those. You know, and those are, I would say, important.
Yeah.
Just that's kind of the height of Marvel television.
I'm thinking that by now you've talked yourself into the fact that you do have to watch a bunch of previous stuff for Marvel.
You should watch them in the order that they came out. Is always the answer that I'm going to give. With anything, you watch Marvel movies in the order that they came out. You watch Star Wars movies in the order that they came out. You watch Die Hard movies in the order they came.
There's 2 ways you can watch it, and Disney gives you that option.
Yeah,
you can watch it in order of release, or you can watch it in the time period. They have a timeline for the Marvel movies, and it starts with Captain America: Captain America, the First Avenger. Then it's Captain Marvel. Then it's Iron Man.
No. And you know what? You can just skip the Princess Bride movies.
See, I don't care which order people watch it in because I can see advantages to both.
Okay. You should watch Willow before the Willow TV series, though.
You should, and I enjoyed the Willow TV series.
I did too, and I'm so sad that is not coming back.
Yep.
I really did. By the end of that thing, I really did enjoy that. Probably more than the movie itself.
Yeah.
And you got a lot to watch, though, you know. And to me, it's only one movie that I have to watch.
Yeah. No, we gave them 3 series to watch. So.
Oh, no, all of them. It has to be all of them, I thought. 3 series.
No, we gave him Hawkeye, Moon Knight, and Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, not WandaVision though, huh? Okay.
No, I think that's
Okay.
one that he can jump in on if he wants.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
So, but I
Keep
think if he makes
reminding
the
me
time to watch
about
those
this.
three,
Keep reminding me about this Batman movie.
yeah. He says, I've watched Reacher 3 times already. Good choice. To both
See,
seasons?
see, that's your issue right there. Don't there's too much to watch. You can't rewatch stuff.
Yeah. It's like we just talked about it on Thursday, but I just watched Dead Boy Detectives,
Uh-huh.
which is a spin-off of Sandman
Uh-huh.
and is connected to the Sandman series. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I won't watch it because there's too much stuff you have to watch to understand it all.
Oddly enough, Dead Boy Detectives, you don't.
Okay, that's
There's
nice.
2 appearances that if you recognize them, you'll go, oh, they're from Sandman. Other than that, you don't need them.
Do you have to watch Sandman to be able to enjoy Swamp Thing?
No. The Swamp Thing show they did a couple years ago was actually pretty good,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
but they canceled it because of financial reasons.
Mm.
They were shooting in North Carolina and were getting a tax credit, and then that tax credit got taken away, so they canceled the series.
Hmm.
But Dead Boy Detectives is good. I enjoyed that quite a bit, but there was something else I was going to throw out there. Reacher season 3 should be coming out soon,
Mm-hmm.
so looking forward to that. I also want to see that the Bureau of Ungentlemanly Warfare,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is the guy from Reacher and Henry Cavill. And but I don't know which streaming service is going to have that.
Will you watch Acolyte?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yep. I'll watch Acolyte, and I'll watch. God, you know what we got into watching? I also watch cooking shows,
Yep, I know.
which is what got me into cooking in the first place.
Yeah.
But there was one on recently called 24 and 24 Last Chef Standing. And literally they bring in 24 chefs for a 24-hour shift. They're going to basically have them cooking for 24 hours straight.
Hmm.
But within the first hour or so, or within the first episode, they cut that number in half. They sent home 12 people.
Hmm.
It is brutal. But
Well,
Lisa and I watched
24
it.
hours, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't get like a 20-minute nap or anything like that?
The only way you got any time to rest is if you won a challenge.
Oh,
Then you could go in. Sometimes you would win rest time. Sometimes you'd win cash.
yeah.
Every
Well, it's
once in
not
a while,
like a
somebody would.
dance marathon or anything like that, right?
Cruel thing they would do is every once in a while someone would get eliminated, but before they were sent away, the other chefs would be offered a certain amount of money to go in their place.
Hmm.
So if you're exhausted and you want to leave, you can leave
Oh,
and save that other person, and we'll give you
yeah.
$4,800.
Yeah. Hey, now that I think of it, that can't be too safe. If you're exhausted, you may like fall into a burner or put your hand into
They
a
had medical crews there, everything.
still.
If somebody cut themselves and stuff, they do that for all the shows.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
the interesting thing was we got to the season finale and saw who won. And as I don't know if you do it, but when I watch these cooking shows, I eventually find a favorite, and it becomes like a sporting event and you start rooting for that person. And it got to the final and it got down to the last 2 people, and my favorite was still there and they won. And it wasn't just weird that I loudly cheered
Yeah.
out loud. I'm like, yes. But that Lisa was laying next to me and did the exact same thing.
The only cooking shows I ever watched is like the last minute of something that leading into the Lego Masters. And it's always that one guy who screams at everybody, who's like real nasty and screams at everybody,
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, I guess that's who that is. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
funny.
whatever it was, it's like the last one I saw, it was like a restaurant, and there was like all the guys were on one team and the ladies were on the other team, and they all had to stand there and they all had kept saying chef. Yes, chef. No,
Yes,
chef. I'm sorry, chef. I'll try to do better, chef. Like it was just weird.
yeah.
Totally weird. And they had to hand in their like aprons and stuff
Hell's
when they were
Kitchen. Yeah, it was
Hell's
Hell's
Kitchen.
Kitchen.
That's what it is. Like
That's one of the ones
that
I'm
was
like.
enough for me. But
The other one,
Lego Masters is like that because they sometimes have to build for like 12 hours or more at a time, and yeah, I always pick my favorite teams,
yeah,
so yeah, it's kind of like that.
yeah. Ed also likes Beat Bobby Flay, which is one of my favorites.
Mm.
But he says he hadn't heard of the movie with Alan Ritchson and Henry Cavill. It's more than just the two of them. It's really an interesting cast. It's also got Carrie Ells from The Princess Bride, and it's got Eliza Gonzalez, who was in the Bloodshot movie. She's been in a bunch of other stuff lately, and it's got Henry Golding, who recently played Snake Eyes in the Snake Eyes movie.
Hmm.
So it's got a pretty good cast. The other thing about it is that it's based loosely on a true story. It's the group, the Bureau of, is it the Bureau? I think it's the Bureau of Ungentlemanly Warfare is based on is an actual thing that was created during the World War II by Winston Churchill and Ian Fleming.
Yeah.
To basically be the first ever Wetworks team. They did the nasty stuff that nobody else would do.
Mm-hmm.
That was beyond or beneath what a proper soldier would do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and Richson plays I think he's Swedish or Austrian or something, and he's got this really wild accent, and he has it through the whole movie. And it's hilarious hearing him do it too, because it's convincing, but you don't look at the guy who plays Reacher and think he's going to talk like this.
That would kind of get a little annoying, I think, after a little while.
And Cavill has this mustache. You remember the Mission Impossible mustache that he had? It was a big,
Yeah.
and it became a problem when they were reshooting Justice League.
Yeah.
This one's closer to Kenneth Branagh's Hercule Poirot mustache.
Okay.
And
yeah.
It's curled out. It's big. He's got a big beard that goes with it. I am looking forward to seeing that movie. So. All right, guys. We had nothing to talk about tonight and still ran long.
That's just totally us, Yeah, I got to get up early in the morning to watch the Batman, so I better got to get to bed.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
You will enjoy it.
Because that's going to be an all-day thing, I'm going to have to take a lot of breaks, to get through it. So, okay.
Okay, I'll tell you where to take the breaks.
Shh, don't ruin the movie. I already know too much about the movie.
When you see the coffee cup with the question mark in it,
yeah,
that's a good time to take a break.
Okay, I like that. I'll remember that.
So,
Potty
you can
break.
walk away, relax a bit, come back, and there'll be more movie.
Okay.
So, because usually when you get to that point, it feels like the movie's over, and you go, "Oh, wait, it's not."
Okay.
So,
all right, we'll do.
Let's wrap it up here. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Ed, always fun. Ed says, I've watched The Batman at least 5 times, and it always flies by. Give it a chance. I think you'll get hooked. I'm with you. I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times and plan to give it another shot soon. Another watch soon, because I do
enjoy not it. Adam West.
Well, Warner Brothers has been having just as equally a hard time as Adam West of trying to get rid of bombs lately. So,
yeah. Oh,
that was good.
Yeah, boom, boom.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. Have a good week.